Okay, let's dive into something truly fascinating today.
Sounds good.
We have a source for this deep dive that's, well, really unique. It's a chakra portrait analysis of Marilyn Monroe.
Right, and specifically from a particular Russian text, which gives it a very distinct perspective.
Exactly. So our goal here isn't really to, validate the whole chakra framework itself.
No, not at all.
It's more about unpacking how this specific text, using this energy lens, views Marilyn, her personality, her image, those struggles we know she had.
It's taking someone so iconic, someone we feel we know, and applying this quite specific energetic model from this source. It promises a different angle.
For sure. You're likely to hear things about her you haven't encountered before. So where does this source start?
It jumps right in, identifying her most prominent chakra, Svadhisthana.
Okay, the second chakra, often linked to sexuality, creativity.
Right. But this text uses specific terms. It calls it leading and transpersonal.
Transpersonal. What does that mean in this context?
It suggests her core sexual energy wasn't just personal. It operated on what the source calls a global egregore.
A global, like a collective energy field.
Pretty much. The idea is that her Svadhisthana energy resonated universally, influencing how the whole world saw her. It was, according to this, her main energetic output.
Wow, okay. That's a big statement right there. So what else?
Well, then it looks at Vishuddha, the throat chakra. Expression, creativity.
Her alter ego, the
Yeah.
source calls it.
Yeah. And here's a key point in this analysis. It says this creative energy, this Vishuddha, actually competed with that dominant Svadhisthana.
Competed. Even though creativity can be seen as linked to sexual energy.
Apparently, in her specific energy portrait, according to this text, they weren't always working together smoothly. It suggests a kind of internal energetic friction.
Interesting. Like her creative self was fighting for space against the sexual persona.
That seems to be the interpretation, yeah. Okay, then there's Anahata, the heart chakra.
Right. The source describes this one as open with good energy saturation. Sounds positive.
It does, initially. But it also notes negative signs left by experienced tragedies.
Ah, okay, so trauma's impact.
Yes, but crucially, the source states these tragedies didn't fundamentally block or shut down the initial energy flow there.
So, what does that mean? She stayed open despite the pain.
It suggests, from this viewpoint, a person who remained fundamentally kind and open-hearted, but the trauma left an imprint. The text calls it a seal of fatalism.
A seal of fatalism. Wow. Okay, moving up, Ajna. The third eye,
This one's characterized quite differently, poorly controlled and asymmetrical,
which the source links
to painful psychological manifestations, unexpected actions, and reactions that weren't always adequate, is the word used.
Sounds like a recipe for instability.
It does, but
Yeah.
then the text adds a layer. These outward signs were often smoothed over by unchanging personal charm.
Ah, the charm. So the analysis sees this, like core mental or intuitive imbalance leading to struggles. But her charisma, maybe that's Svadhisthana power or the open anahata, acted like a buffer.
That's how this specific source seems to frame it, yeah. An
Yeah.
energetic buffer, masking deeper issues.
Got it. What about Manipura, the solar plexus? Personal power, social stuff.
The source sees its energy rotation, the vortex, as accelerated.
Faster spin. Good.
Not necessarily. It says this acceleration is compensating for a small size.
Okay, so overcompensation.
Exactly. This compensation, expressed as intense social activity, apparently leads to rapid exhaustion, and there's a risk of loss of control.
That really paints a picture of burnout, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Constantly pushing a weaker energy center.
Precisely. Leads directly to vulnerability in this framework.
Okay. And Sahasrara, the crown.
Described simply as blot.
Blocked, meaning
According to the source, an absence of strategic thinking, an inability to really see herself in the future.
a lack of foresight linked to a blocked crown chakra. Direct.
Very direct.
And finally, the foundation.
Hmm.
Muladhara, the root chakra.
Yeah, and this one is described quite starkly. Small, disrupted, weak energy.
Which connects to...
The text links it to an insufficiency of life energy resource, overall weak health and mental instability.
So fundamental weakness at the base.
Right. And here's the crucial part, according to this source. It explicitly attributes this core weakness, this disruption, to a destructive childhood psychosexual experience.
Wow. Okay, so this specific analysis traces her core vitality issues, health, mental fragility, right back to early trauma damaging her foundational energy.
That's the narrative the source builds. It connects the dots from that alleged early experience straight to the Muladhara's state.
So bringing it all together,
Yeah.
this chakra portrait from this Russian text offers, well, an energy map.
Mm-hmm.
It connects her massive global appeal, that undeniable charm, to these dominant, powerful centers like Svadhisthana.
Yeah, the leading energy.
But it simultaneously links her internal pain, that exhaustion, the instability, to these other imbalances and weaknesses.
Like the overcompensating Manipura, the poorly controlled ajna.
And grounding the deepest issues, the mental instability and weak life force, right in that supposedly damaged Muladhara due to childhood trauma.
It creates a complete, if unconventional, energetic explanation for the contradictions we see in her story.
Exactly. It's certainly a unique deep dive looking at an icon through this very specific, source-defined lens.
It definitely gives you a different framework to think about it all.
It really does. So maybe the thought to leave you with is this. Consider how such a specific, energy-focused framework interprets the complexities of someone like Marilyn Monroe. What might exploring her life through this particular unconventional map suggest about how we try to grasp the hidden dimensions of public figures, or even ourselves? Something to ponder.